For House, we have a staff of 14 writers, and we needed to increase our numbers because the medical stories take so long to break. So in order to be able to deliver a script every 8 days, we need to have the machine cranking, and a lot of writers working on a lot of stories simultaneously.
The staff is we've divided into a bit of a pitching rotation, and so there's kind of two groups who are working simultaneously, and Russ and Garrett kind of help one group, and I help the other group kind of develop their outlines and their stories and help them when they're writing their scripts. There's a bit of a process that the writer writes a first draft, and then we help them, rewrite that draft, and then David helps us rewrite that draft, and they go through multiple rewrites.
Usually it takes probably about, I don't know, at least a month and a half, 2 months or something from like inception to like David Shore kind of signing off on it and saying, yeah, I like this idea, go develop it, and then the writer sort of developing it, and then one of us sort of then working with that person and rewriting the outline or whatever, and then finally getting that outline to the point where, okay, it's ready to go off and write a script. And then usually writing can turn out a script in a couple weeks, but then we keep rewriting it, so it's a process.
It takes 8 days or 9 days to shoot an episode and 2 months to write an episode. So at the beginning of the season, we have 2 months, and then it gets shorter and shorter, and by the end of the season, we're usually scrambling, partnering up writers, and maybe have, a week or 2 weeks to crank something out under a lot of pressure.
This is a really unique time because usually what we have is the end of a season, we have a nice 2-month period where there's no filming happening, the actors are, production's on hiatus, and we get to slowly simmer over what we want to do for the entire next season. And after the strike, we came back and said, okay, we've got to do 4 episodes, and we get to roll it right into next season without any simmering time. There's no percolating. So we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants, and we're going to back up a lot quicker than we usually do. So I think we're a bit in fear, but it's exciting at the same time.
That's where it helps to have a large staff, and almost everybody has been on the show for a few years, so it's a pretty experienced staff too, which is helpful. Otherwise, we'd really be in trouble.
Fever, non-responsive to antibiotics and antipyretics, fluctuating consciousness. Go!
The hardest part's the medicine.
It's the medical stories, man. Plotting these medical stories takes so long, and it's like if you have a murder mystery, you can always just bring in a character or make up a motivation for whatever the husband and wife, and we're just so locked into these symptoms that can only be for certain diseases.
Could be a symptom, sense of impending doom.
Yeah, could be adrenal gland disorders, blood issues, anaphylaxis.
If you're gonna kiss his ass to protect your ass, at least wait until he's had a good idea.
We need to find a really cool disease that a genius diagnostician can't figure out immediately.
And that's the beginning.
But we can, and we don't know anything about medicine.
And they also start out, they usually come to us after they've been to 4 doctors and no one can figure out what it is. So they've had all the normal tests already, so we're starting from so deep in the story, and it's like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
A lot of phone calls, a lot of research, big piles of research like that to even get started. I feel like every new episode is like a going to med school.
Endocarditis.
Hemorrhagic lesions in the lungs and gut. Bronchiolitis obliterans. He smoked his airways into oblivion.
Endocarditis.
I already said that.
I'd heard of it before you mentioned it.
Speed counts. Find something else.
And you learn so much about whatever particular disease it is, and could it possibly take this course, and could it possibly take that course? And there is a reality to them we try to stick to. Yes, it could, theoretically, it's been documented, it has taken this course, we stick to that.
Okay, kidney failure, aspiration, fainting, go.
Kidney failure could be the result of a gram-negative bacteria. Our patient wears a catheter full time. It virtually guarantees bacterial infection.
Which could have migrated up to his kidneys. Infection stresses his already weakened system, makes his SMA worse. That explains the choking and fainting.
Put him on an IV Ampajet.
And then you get through the end and you have to start another episode, and you just have to flush your brain of everything to be able to start that process over again.
Come on, gotta earn that fiber.
In addition to the challenge of figuring out how to hide the disease, we then need to have these scenes where 4 intelligent doctors are spitting out possibilities that are not correct but could plausibly be correct.
Lupus would explain.
Maybe she didn't change.
Are you agreeing with me or are you making a point?
I'm making a point.
The reason we go to lupus so often is because it could plausibly fit a lot of different symptoms.
Life is messy argument. Nice. Explains everything without explaining anything.
It always fits that tiny window of being plausible yet wrong that we need 4 separate scenes of in the show, with each doctor saying something intelligent in one of those scenes.
No, just treat for amyloidosis.
Yeah, I think amyloidosis is the new lupus. That seems like to be in.
I think so.
That's
I think so too.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah. Just thinking of an episode we did about a supermodel who realizes that she's actually was born male, it's his male genome, but at female, completely physically is female. That sort of was an idea we just had, like, we just thought it'd be cool for the ultimate medical mystery to be a woman with testicular cancer.
So it's not cancer?
No, it's cancer, but he has cancer.
Like, how is that possible? That seems impossible. And we didn't know if it was possible. And then, through our kind of in-house doctors, like David Foster, he's one of the writers, he's also a doctor, and he's sort of one of our in-house consultants, and we have a bunch of other medical consultants we work with. And we sort of like spitball the idea with them and learned how that could be medically possible, how someone could not realize, they may look like a female but have male parts or vice versa. And then we sort of built the story around that.
This is obviously a joke. It's impossible.
No, a joke would be me calling you a homo. See the difference?
So we had the idea, the social part first, I guess you'd say, and then got the medicine. And other times it's like, I know like Larry Kaplow had the idea for Autopsy, which was a season 2 episode.
Is it still illegal to perform an autopsy on a living person?
Are you high?
If it's Tuesday, I'm wasted.
Where he just really wanted to do this crazy thing where the only way to save someone was to kill them, basically. Which sounds ridiculous, but for House, it's not. And he figured out a way that actually is medically plausible that you would need to do that. So he kind of reverse engineered a story around this really cool medicine.
What? She's dead. That's the whole idea.
We actually have internally a researcher who keeps track of everything and then distributes it to the entire writing staff.
Also, Lisa Sanders is one of our consultants, and she writes the diagnosis column, like that's every month or so in the New York Times Magazine.
Sometimes, if you have the germ of an idea, send it to her and she'll give you different directions you can go and different diseases that may be kind of red herrings and misdirects along the way. I mean, a lot of times, at least for me, is where you want to end up, like it's the woman who has testicular cancer, some odd ending, and it's just trying to figure out a way to delay that and hide that or figure it out in a suspenseful way.
Just tell me she's gonna be okay. I'm not even sure you're gonna be okay.
Personally, I've found my social filter disintegrating since I've come and worked on this show. I'm much more prone to say whatever's on my mind at a party and have my wife say, oh, he works for House. And that sort of gets me off the hook, which is good.
I wanted to deal with the yelling today because I noticed what you were wearing and I wouldn't have to listen all that closely.
I guess somewhere within us there must be belligerent assholes to be able to write these lines.
Hike up your skirt.
Wow, that's rude even for you.
Hike it down then.
That's true. I mean, writing for House it's a lot of fun.
Who's your friend?
We use the term life partner.
I was gonna say that's one of the most fun things about working for this show compared to any that we've ever worked on is we don't hold back.
Dark religious nut.
What did you call me?
I'm sorry. What do you people want to be called this week?
Cole?
I'm never gonna remember that.
In fact, the opposite. If we ever come up with a line in this office, and usually the fear would be on previous shows we'd worked on, is like, you can't even run that by your boss, it's too crazy.
This argument is distracting every male and lesbian here.
In here, it's the opposite. It's like, that's what David's gonna love.
You gotta get down here. They've got a satellite aimed directly into Cuddy's vagina. I told him the chances of invasion are slim to none, but...
If it's something you've never heard before, if it's something that goes over the line, that's what we want.
You a Mormon? You're wearing a ring from Brigham Young. Or did your folks just do the lawns?
As long as we can get by the censors and everybody else, it's going in.
Lesbian. Find out if anybody on that bus was taken to other hospitals.
You just forgot mine.
No, 13. I just wanted to call you a lesbian.
I'm not a lesbian.
I was rounding up from 50%.
Yeah, some of my favorite lines on the show have been lines where we're in a room together and you write a line that you think that I can't think of a good line, so I'm just going to throw this out here just to make the other people in the room laugh, because it's just so disgusting. There's no way it would stay in. And people laugh, and you're like, can that stay in? And it ends up staying in, and that's some of the best lines.
I call you cutthroat bitch. Well, quod erat demonstratum. Then I speak in Latin, because I don't try to hide what an ass I am.
I mean, the great thing about Hugh is he can do like any pattern. I mean, we don't have to do a certain type of joke or a certain type of delivery. He'll nail kind of anything we write. It's really true for all the actors. I don't ever feel boxed in by this actor's only good at this, or let's write this more towards that. I feel like they really deliver kind of whatever we want to bring them.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Is she not wearing any underwear?
There's a guy bleeding.
Foreman, she's not wearing any underwear. You used to be more fun.
And it's another great thing about this show. We do episodes that are basically comic, and we'll do episodes that are hugely dramatic, and everything in between. Some episodes are all those things. And our cast can do all of those things. So we're very lucky that way.
Robert's like that especially. I feel like a lot of times there'll be a scene with Robert in it, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure that's gonna work. Like those lines, and then you hear him say it, and it's like, wow, you can make anything funny.
You ever tighten a guitar string really, really slowly?
Their chemistry together is fantastic.
It makes this weird sound, almost like a scream.
Hugh and Robert, both just out on stage and on the screen, play off each other so well, make each other laugh. People like to watch that. I think it really started, did you put them living together in season 2? So we did an arc in season 2 where Wilson moved in with House, and that just popped. So we've been going towards that ever since, that relationship. And we've done a lot of stuff in season 4, and we're going even bigger towards it in season 5. There's a lot that's gonna go on between them. It's a very vague whetting of the appetite.
You're right. Why not? Why not date you? It's brilliant. We've known each other for years. We've put up with all kinds of crap from each other, and we keep coming back. We're a couple.
Are we still speaking metaphorically?
I think it's a slightly more open show now as the seasons grow, and it was a little bit more procedural, medical, I think, in the first few seasons, and now it's a little bit more about character. I mean, we have almost a whole new team, so it's been kind of reinvigorating for the writers, too.
It felt like we needed some new toys for House to play with. And also, well, there's the reality of the old fellows. 3 years had gone by, so how long are you in a fellowship? The second issue being they had heard House act this way for 3 years, so it was harder for them to react as a new person. They're the audience's eyes, and we want them to react like the audience would react when he does something outlandish. And, you know, they've sort of heard it all before for 3 years, so it felt, you know, quite invigorating to bring in fresh new eyes for that reason, too, to go, oh my God, this guy's crazy, rather than, oh, here he goes again.
Big Love. Have I humiliated you in the last half hour?
No.
Check your email.
It's so hard. I mean, being on the show for this, I've never been on a show for this many seasons, and it's just, you keep thinking, can we keep this up? You know, we're really proud of the show, and we just want to keep it that way. So I don't have specific ideas, but there's this pressure we just want the show to be good. You know, we just want people to be enjoying it, and just to keep the quality up.
That we're teeing off a lot of character stuff at the end of this season. That it's going to be sort of like the first, you know, definitely the first half of next season, we're going to be dealing with ramifications of stuff. We're doing some things we haven't done before, which I think is going to be cool.
She was on the bus with me. She's the one who's dying.
We write what we like and what David Shore likes, and, you know, as long as we've been making ourselves happy on these scripts, it's been working. So we just try and continue to do that and hope people continue to like it.